Hi, Sian.
Hi, my love.
You all right?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. I think we've got ourselves together for this podcast. We have been a little bit chuckly before we started, but we're going to go for it. So I brought Sian on the podcast because I've known you. How long do you think we've known each other? Is it about 4 years or is it less?
Slightly less.
3?
2, 3.
2, 3. Okay.
2, 3.
Yeah. So we met because I'd seen one of your posts on Facebook at the time about breathwork, and I'd always been a little bit intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
And then I contacted you, and then we made it happen. And I can't trying to think where that would have been, the first session. I know where it was. Yes, I do. So I came to a session, literally fell in love with it, didn't I?
Yes. I'm pretty certain that your first session was Galentine's, something fun.
Yeah.
It was around the start of the new year.
Yeah, and did I come on my own for the first one?
I think you did.
Yeah, and then the second one I came with, I think was when I came with Abby.
I think so.
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I absolutely loved that. And then we did together the sessions for mums, didn't we?
Yeah.
At Washbourne, which was really good because I wanted to do something for the, specifically for mums that were not taking any time for themselves. So that was really, really important. I know we did sort of 2 or 3, didn't we? I know that sort of like, we didn't carry that on. But that was a really, really nice thing. And that was really, really special, actually, that we were felt like able to give back and help those parents. So that was really lovely. And I've done a retreat as well.
Yeah.
With Victoria.
Oh, that was a good one.
It's Victoria. That was really, really good.
That was in the summer, wasn't it?
Yes. So that would have been a couple of summers ago.
Yeah.
I came to that one.
Yeah.
And that was lush. And then I think life just got really, really busy, and I need to invest in some time for me. So I will be back.
Absolutely. Well, you'll be joining me for disco this month.
Yes.
I'm excited.
I know. I'm excited for that one. Really, really good. So I kind of I've sort of dipped in and out, and I've loved it, and obviously spent some time with Alessia as well, which has been amazing. So more of that is needed for this year. Definitely.
Hell yeah.
So, as you know, I've got this podcast set up, and I'm bringing people on that are heavily invested in and very passionate about well-being. And for me, as I said to you earlier, I just like hearing people's stories, why you do what you do,
mm-hmm.
and a little bit more about what you do, because I think it's really important for people to get to know the person behind the product or the service that they're offering. So,
yeah.
And everyone's got a story.
1000%.
So wherever you really want to start with kind of what brought you to where you are today, what made you sat up and everything, really.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really important as well because I think once you understand someone's story and why they've got to where they are, you can see people differently. You understand that sometimes you hear someone's story and you also realise that someone has walked in your shoes and they genuinely understand.
Yeah.
And I know for me that I've always been adamant about the people that I seek support from are people that have walked in my shoes. So I'm quite happy to share my story. And I know that we were saying as well that I said I always feel like I feel like personally I bang on about it, but I've also come to realise that I don't share it enough and I don't talk about my story enough.
Yeah.
And actually when I do talk about my story, that I find that it genuinely really helps people. So I want to thank you first and foremost for actually asking me, because it's been a great time to reflect for me on my story and how I've got here. But also it's a reminder to always continue to keep sharing and keep talking about where you started to versus where you are now. So my story is a bit of a mental one, in the sense of we've been through all the seasons. But I'll start off at where seems most fit. So I am now 29 going on 30.
You're so
The
young.
big 3-0. I know, the big 3-0 this year. What the hell? Oh my God. Anyway.
What I would give to
Anyway.
do that there.
The big 3-0.
Yeah.
But, so I think but I think it's important to share, because in my story, what I found so profound is I didn't find a lot of younger women of my age who were outwardly speaking about these things, which is why I think it's important to share from a place of as a young woman, I really, really struggled because I was undiagnosed with fibromyalgia, which if you don't know is chronic pain, chronic fatigue. And I was undiagnosed for about 10 years.
That's a long time.
Yes. So I actually spent my teenage years. So it's from when I was around 12 is when I really started to, things were quite heightened. So as a teenager, I really, really struggled with mental and physical health. And I think it's important to start there because it kind of precedes my journey. So all throughout secondary school, I was in and out of doctors, I was in and out of hospital, undergoing consultation, test upon test. I was like a guinea pig. And it was always a feeling of something's wrong, something's not right. And everybody would say to me, you're fine, you're healthy, you're young, you know, you do gymnastics, you're active, like you're just a growing teenager. You'll be fine. And I feel like that's all I heard for like 10 years. You'll be fine, you're young, you're fit, you're healthy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you, it messes with your head.
I was going to say that.
It as someone, and you're a teenager and you're finding your voice in the world.
Yeah.
And people are saying to you, no, you're fine. And you're saying, no, something's wrong.
But you're being pushed back down.
And you're being pushed down.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people mean it with love and on the other side of things. But that really started to affect my physical and mental health. It really did. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think people ever understood that there was nothing that I wanted less than being in and out of hospitals, doctors, scans, tests, blood tests, invasive treatments. You're a young teenage girl. There's nothing more mortifying.
Yeah,
than
of course.
that, right? So I kind of really struggled. I was also, from my gymnastics, I went into gymnastics coaching. So I only gave that up last year. So I did 17 years as a gymnastics coach. So once again, yeah, I was physically active, really sporty, really, you know, loved all of that. But when I was 17, I was really going through quite a bad stage. Obviously, at that point, I was still undiagnosed. I got diagnosed at 22. So at 17, I was in a really bad stage. And the doctors were like, look, this isn't getting any better. Start taking antidepressants. That was the... right. Which I think is why I'm passionate about speaking about these things from having that. At 17 years old, when you look back now, for me, I was like, I just want to not be in pain and I want to feel better. I didn't quite understand the antidepressant side of things. So I was given these antidepressants. And I can hand on heart say for about a year and a half, I was just a walking zombie. I was a walking shell of myself. And that really it was just a really hard time. I took this, I didn't want to be in pain. Yes, it helped with the pain. It helped with the chronic pain, but I just, you know, someone when you're like your body is present and your mind and soul isn't.
Yeah.
Like I was not there. I was not going out with my friends. I was not in social occasions. I was just really reclusive.
Yeah.
You know, as like a young woman, and then I feel like no one ever twigged either. People were like, oh, you know, normal 17-year-olds, they're going out with their mates, they're getting drunk. You don't do that. I was like, yeah, hello. And so there was a lot of times where I think, once again, I think people meant it with love, but no one was really gauging the signs. Everybody was just like, yeah, you're young, you're fine. Like, or like, oh, you're a bit weird for a 17-year-old. Like, you stay at home, you don't do this.
Yeah.
So then when I got to 18, 19 years of age, I'd been in my job as a gymnastics coach and it become really life-consuming. I was working like 7 days a week. I was a full-time carer for one of my grandparents at the time. I was trying to finish college. Like the world kind of got all a bit too much. Then my grandparent, they passed away. That's when I kind of went a little bit over the edge. And I walked in and was like, that's it, I'm done. I left my job. It all got a bit too much. And I went through a really funky period of depression. So I was like, so already by 19, I was like, it's been a bit of a rough, a rough way.
You'd lived a life.
Yeah. And in the midst of that, my parents separated.
Yes.
So it was like my parents separated. My mum had moved. My dad, I ended up staying with my dad, but then he left and went traveling the world for a year. I was here. I was like, left my job, everything. So everything I'd known, my whole identity kind of fell. And I went into a really like bad, funky stage. and very, very depressed, very low, super high anxiety, like super, super high. And I'd just been working in such a stressful environment for so many months. It kind of all come crashing down.
Yeah.
So
and were you still on antidepressants at this point?
Yes.
And had they been upped because of
yes,
what
and they
everything
kept getting upped.
Yeah.
So for me, I just think, yes, a lot of ways they helped with switching a lot of stuff off, but also I wasn't in the right frame of mind to actually deal with anything. It just was a case of, you feel worse, take more. So I wasn't actually dealing with what was actually going on. So eventually, so that was like a 5-month period. I didn't work, I didn't leave the house, I didn't nothing. It was crazy. Kind of went back into the real world. But I went back into the real world, and then I said, I feel gross. I'm not going to be on antidepressants anymore. The doctor said, that's not a good idea. The pain will come back. And I said, I don't care. I took myself off of antidepressants.
Straight off?
Against guidance.
Not weaned?
No.
Yeah.
I was like, it just got to a point where I was like, no, this is...
You wanted some control back?
I wanted my mind back.
Yeah.
I just was like, I'm not me. I'm not thinking straight.
You're not connecting with yourself.
I'm not right. Yeah, I'm not rational in that sense. But I was like, I'm foggy. I'm really, really, really foggy. Right.
Yeah.
Which actually is funny, because when you have fibro, you get brain fog. So, but it's a different kind of foggy. And so I was like, no, I'm going to take a break from gymnastics. I'm going to start a new career. It was almost that point where I was like, okay, enough's enough. I need to restart. So I did. I restarted. I went into a new job, all the beautiful things. But I was still undiagnosed. So what happened over the next 3 years is I was just constantly, I was in work for a few months, then I was signed off with high anxiety, then I'd be in work for a few months, then I was signed off with insomnia, high blood pressure, then I was in work for a few months, then I was signed off with depression. So it was like the cycle. I'd like be off for a few months, finally get back the energy, work for a few months, burn out. I did this cycle for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And in the midst of this, I met my wonderful Jamie. So he's seen me at my all-time low, should we say. And that was at that point where, so at that point now, when we're getting on 22, I was like, this is 10 years of this cycle. And everybody kept saying to me, you're a young woman, you're healthy, you're fit, you've got everything going for you. And I just remember sitting at my dressing table and going, like, this is not it. There is more to life than this. And there's things like, and I'm a massive believer of holistic medicine from my story. And I'm a believer of, if there are things that you need, absolutely there are time and seasons like where you need them and they help you. For me, that was not the right support that I needed at that time.
Yeah.
But it was a case of, you're struggling, take this. And I was like, I'm just not dealing with all the things that are going on.
Yeah.
And that just came to a point, I said, that's not working for me anymore, because I'm just in this never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
And I thought, I can't continue. This is 10 years now. This is like, it's a bit of a joke.
Yeah, of course.
It's 10 years. Then I get diagnosed at 22, which once again was an odd one. I thought, right, I'm going to go to a support group. Everybody in this support group was like 40 years and up.
I thought you were going to say that, yeah.
This support group was fantastic. I was in it for about 6 months. It was fantastic. I learned so much about fibro and things associated with it, and it really, really massively helped me. But I also was like, I don't resonate with the people that are here.
Yeah.
Did you see what I mean? I was like, I'm young, like in my early 20s, and everybody else is like in their like mid 40s and 50s. So part of me was like, I'm so grateful that I've been diagnosed earlier, that I'm younger, but I also don't resonate with the people in here.
Yeah.
Right? But then once again, kind of carried on my life for another couple of years. Kind of then went into I've now been diagnosed. So now I was like, now I'm a fibro sufferer. Kind of went into this victim. That made things worse.
Yeah.
Then I get to 24. That's when that's when life changed for me. And 24 was the catalyst, because that's when good old COVID came and done us all dirty.
Yes.
She was not cute. So essentially, because I was in gymnastics, so I'd still been in that career, but when I'd left, got another job, hated it, and then gone back to it like self-employed freelance, kind of worked off my own back. So I did like 7 years employed, and then after that I'd done 10 years self-employed, right? Before I left. So COVID come along, and as you can imagine, I'm coaching, it's amazing. And I remember being in the gym, and they were like, ladies, have you seen the announcement? The government said, like, we're shutting down. We've got a 2-week shutdown. I want you to put everything away. get it all sorted and enjoy a lovely 2 weeks, rest, don't worry, go chill out, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. That turned into just under a year. I was off.
God.
Like the world shut down. So what happens? We've suddenly got all this time and space. I was naive. I was like, 2 weeks, great. We're going to sit in the garden and have tea. And
because it was beautiful weather, wasn't it?
It was beautiful, wasn't it? It was like a beautiful heat wave. I was loving life. I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
And then we didn't go back. And then I suddenly had all of this time and space to think about things. You know, I'd been in the gym, once again, working long hours, physically demanding job. I'd been diagnosed, but I'd stayed unmedicated, still am. So after that series of medication, I was like, this doesn't work for me. And then things took a real rocky turn. So when we went in, what was it, March, April time, we kind of went into lockdown.
Yep.
It was the June, July. By that point, this like 2-3 month mark, I had the mentee bee of my life. I had like absolute breakdown of my life. And then I laugh about that because that's the exact time where I started to have my spiritual awakening. It all come at once. But essentially, I was like, you're masking it, you've put a band-aid over it, you've still not got to the root of it, all this stuff is still coming back, and once you have some time and space to think about it, it was like as soon as I stopped, my physical health went, my mental health went, I hit rock bottom again. I was like, I don't like who I am as a person. I was thinking, how on earth Jamie can stand to be around me is honestly quite beyond me. This guy is like, how he puts up with me. How he puts up with me now is one thing, but how he put up with me then... You know, bless him. We love him. He's absolutely incredible, genuinely.
That's why he's your husband.
Absolutely.
He's the keeper.
There you go. Spoiler alert, we're married. Yeah. So we survived. Sucks to be you, Jamie. Love you. But yeah, so that was at that point. And I just remember at the time, I found this... there was... You know, you get Facebook ads. Yeah? And it was like, 5-day manifestation challenge. Come join for free.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, it was so random. It's so random. And I remember thinking, what's that?
Yeah.
What's all this about? Just, you know...
I've got 5 days.
Yeah, I think I got five years at this point. And it was free, you know, because no income. So it was one of those that we kind of, you know, I used to just like go down the library and get books because obviously you could for free. And, you know... By the way, I'm like a massive geek. I love like massive geek. Love the knowledge. I love learning. Yes. So curious. I'm one of those people. I want to know why. Yeah. Why this? Why that? What, you know? Anyway, so it was this 5-day manifestation challenge, and and I was like, what is all this crazy? It was like, don't really know. Like, biggest skeptic you've ever met. Biggest like, that's a load of rubbish. Don't believe in any of that nonsense. But for whatever reason, I just read this post and I was just like, it's me. And it was almost about like, if you're kind of at a crossroads and if you're a bit lost in life, come join.
You're like, this is written for me.
I was like, that's me. Yeah. I'm having a breakdown. It's great.
Yeah.
And I did this 5-day manifestation challenge. It literally blew my mind. Honestly, I was just like, it just opened my eyes to like another side of...
What did you have to do?
It was like training on your mindset, and it was like manifestation challenges in the sense of like, ask for this with it, like ask for a sign within 24 hours, ask for this within 24 hours. And it was like, you know, show yourself it's true. Yeah. Kind of thing. So I was like, I want to see, I felt like one of them, it was like, I want to see like a pink flamingo in 24 hours. Don't ask me why. Or like a purple whale, just random stuff. Yeah. And I did, and I saw those things and I was like, okay, it was just like odd things, and then maybe it was like ask for something like lucky to happen today, and then it was like I'd got like a free coffee, you know, things when you're like, okay, just kind of open my eyes.
I'm going with this,
but it was a lot of mindset work. It was a lot of like that intro to it, and I loved it. And at the end of it, she was like, I've got a membership and I want to invite you all in, and I was like, I'm in. Yeah. This is great. So I joined this membership, and that's what I focused on for those next few months. I joined this membership, and it was about spirituality, it was about manifestation, it was about, you know, all the witchy woo-woo things that you're like, you'd love as a kid, and then you grow up and then you kind of lose the magic. And then it was like people were talking about crystals or astrology or human design, and you're like, oh wow, this is like, so cool. But like, I was always like, it was like a corner of the internet where I was like, we're talking about the things that people don't talk about. I was like, I love that. And it just kind of piqued my curiosity, and the spirituality side of it kind of came on quite hard, but I didn't resonate with, like, for example, being a spiritual woman, right? If that makes sense. I was like, I'm just so curious. So this. And so the year passed, and I was really, really curious. And then at the end of that year, I was like, I'm going to start to just do some qualifications. I'd kind of had 6 months where I was like, I'm so intrigued.
Yeah.
And it was about to be the new year. So it was like New Year's resolutions. Yeah. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to actually learn about this a bit more in depth. I'm going to start to do some spiritual qualifications and some life coaching qualifications. Yeah. Just because I bloody wanted to. And I found my coach, and I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell Jamie. I didn't tell my mum. I didn't tell my dad. Because I was almost like, people would be like, why are you doing that? That's odd. And I just was like, I don't want anyone else's opinion.
No, you don't want to be swayed because you liked how it made you feel. And you're like, okay.
And there was things that we started to do and learn about. And I noticed that even though my mental health was still a bit rubbish, my physical health started to feel better.
Interesting.
So I was like, there's a bit, there's something a bit more to this. So I'd found my spiritual coach. I'd started to do some qualifications. And then that's when, like, the April, like, the world opened up again, didn't it? And we went back to work. And I went back to work. And I always say, like, I'd wanted that for so long, but when I went back, it wasn't the same. Things were just weird and different. And we were still coaching in masks, and it was all still a bit distance and whatever. And it was all a bit weird. And so I'd been doing my qualifications for 4 months. And right before I went back to work, me and Jamie had gone on a holiday. We'd gone on a holiday to Berlin. I always remember because you still had to wear the mask and you had to do your COVID passport and whatever. And on that holiday, I was like, Jamie, I've got a secret to tell you. I think he was like, oh, God, what is it?
What are you going to say?
And I was like, I've been secretly retraining.
Oh.
And I told him on that holiday.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, I've been secretly retraining in life coaching and spiritual coaching.
Yeah.
And he was like, you were spending a lot of hours on your laptop. I wondered what you would do. This is Jamie. Just don't ask. He was just like, you happy? I was like, yeah, I'm great.
Yeah.
And he just let me be. And he was like, why are you telling me now? And it was because I'd just done my exam and I'd passed. And so I was like, well, I better tell you because I've just done an exam and I've passed. And he was like, what are you going to do with it? And I was like, I don't know. And just left it. Then my coach said to me, Sian, the world's opened up again. I'm going to run a retreat in June. Do you want to come? And I was like, oh, no. Because I'm quite introverted and I'm quite like, and this was like in London. And I was like, oh my God, like, we've just been shut away for a year. I was like, London? No, I don't want to go there. Anyway, sure enough, I read the bloody thing. And I was like, it was calling to me. Never been to a retreat. Not really a big fan of being with people I don't know in bigger groups. Yeah. London, I was like, overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I'd asked all my friends, would you come with me? No, I'm busy. No, I'm busy. No, I don't want to do that. Rah, rah. And then I still wanted to go. And I remember, and I didn't have the money for it at the time because I'd like literally just gone back to work. And I said, Jamie, there's a retreat I really want to go on. And he was like, okay, tell me about it. And I kind of told him about it. I said, I just feel like I need to be there and I don't know why. Which that's what we call intuition now. Yes. But at the time I was like, I just don't know. I feel like I need to be there. And I said to him, can I borrow the money? And when I get paid, can I pay you back? And he was like, yeah, sure. Just Jamie being. He was like, yeah, sure. He was like, if you really feel like you need to be there, sure. Like, I know you're good for it. Like, pay me back. So I did. I borrowed the money off Jamie. It was like 300. It was like 350 quid. So it was like quite a big thing at the time when I had no money. And it was a weekend retreat in London. And I went. And the itinerary, I had no idea. It was like ecstatic dance, kirtan. Kirtan is like chanting, like singing and chanting.
Yeah.
Breathwork. What the hell's breathwork?
Yeah.
This is why we love cacao ceremony.
Yeah.
What the hell's that?
So you didn't really know what you were walking into at all?
No.
Well, I just knew you wanted to go to this retreat.
This was like super spiritual woo-woo. And I was like, I have no idea what... I did actually Google some of it. And then I kind of stopped. I was like, okay, actually, no. I was kind of a bit like, let's not.
That's quite good going in blind, though. Yeah, because you might have put yourself off.
I had all the reasons. And this is why I always say... This is why I'm so big on things like retreats and sessions like this. Because I'm like, I was the woman that had no idea what was going on. I didn't know anyone. I was going on my own. Like, I didn't know where I was going. I was thinking, oh my God, this big group. And I had every reason not to go.
Yeah.
I was just like, every reason. But something was like, you just need to be there. Yeah.
Yes.
I was just like, it was one of those moments where I truly hand on heart followed my heart.
Good.
And was like, what the hell? Got to the day, had a breakdown, because I had to drive myself there. I was like, oh. Anyway, just did it. And I said to myself, I was like, I'm going to go. And if I don't like it, if I don't like the people, if the people are horrible and everyone's mean to me and I'm like booed out the door, I'll just leave. You know, worst fit
at school, yeah.
Yeah, if everyone's like, boo, you suck. I'm like, okay, bye. Like, you know.
Get out.
You know, when you're like, you know, you talk yourself into stupid shit. If everyone just boos you out the door.
Yeah, you create a whole scenario.
Say F off, bye, see you later, sucks to be you, and just go home, pretend it didn't happen, right?
Okay, I'll leave. I love that.
And, and I remember... So I'd obviously been doing work with like my spiritual coach at the time, but like I hadn't known anyone. So I met her in person, and she was like even lusher. You know when you meet someone, you're like, oh my God, you're even lusher in person.
Yeah.
And hilariously, so she was like, it's going to be quite a small retreat. And then when I got there, she's like, oh, there's 23 of you. And I was like, oh my God.
That's not small.
I know. I was like, oh my God, no. And I was like, oh, panic. But I just walked in that door. I remember I was the last one as well, because she was like, one at a time, we're going to walk in the door and I'm going to sage you and I'm going to cleanse you. And I was thinking, what the hell? So I ended up going last because I just was like, I almost was like,
I'm already clean. I washed this morning.
Yeah, I was like, what we doing?
Yeah.
No one's ever saged me with a feather before. It's great.
Yeah.
Felt wonderful. But it was like one of those experiences. I've never. Okay, what the hell? And I just went last because I was so scared. And I remember she said, I actually laughed because she went to me, "Are you ready?" Sounds really. Little did I know. Bloody hell. She went, "Are you ready?" And I went, "Yeah." I was like, "Sure."
For what?
And I walked in. And when I say there is no other way to describe, I said I walked in as one woman and I left as another. That was my very, very first experience of singing, chanting, cacao. And we went into breathwork.
Oh, wow.
And my very, very, very first experience of breathwork, it's not like this for everyone, please don't be scared. But when I say like my brain like blew out my head,
yeah,
it was a moment of like enlightenment that I can't articulate. I experienced something that cracked my heart wide open, connected me to my soul. And I also was like, there's a different way.
Yes.
That's what it was for me. It was like, there's a different way to do this.
See, I think when you said talking about sitting at your dressing table and you said, I know I don't want to be like this, no, there's more.
Yeah.
So you knew that, but you hadn't seen it. So this was something, this is almost tangible, and you were like,
Yeah, like in me, I was like, there's a better way to live.
Yes.
Like, I can live, maybe not pain-free, but in less pain.
Yeah.
I can find people like me, but then I found them on the internet, and I was like, but I want to find real humans in my community or in my life. Yeah. And no one was like showing me this or living this way, like in my life.
Yeah, in your circle.
Yeah, so I was like, I've got no one like showing me this, right?
Yeah.
So I did this breathwork experience. My brain fell out. I actually laughed because I had a really severe nosebleed. After I walked out, I had this really severe nosebleed. It was so fun. It wasn't funny. It was so funny. We'd gone into the horses. My nose went... And I was like... Wah! But when I said my brain blew out, literally it kind of come out my nose.
Yeah.
It was insane, right? And I went home. And I got home like really, really... It was like 1 o'clock in the morning because I got stuck on the M4. Great. Reading roadworks. And I got home and Jamie said to me, how was it? And I was like so tired. And I just said... It was life-changing. Yeah. It was life-changing. That's all I could say. I was like, it was life-changing. I can't say any more than that. He was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
As
sounds great. Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, that same spiritual coach, she went, Sian, I'm doing my next round of breathwork facilitation, as in to train to do breathwork. Have you thought about it? I was like, babes, 2 days ago, I just walked into your room and experienced it for the first time. My brain is still coming back into my body. Yeah. I ain't thought about nothing. Yeah. She was like, you should think about it. My whole body was like, no. Like, just the immediate reaction was like, no, I couldn't do that. Yeah. Who am I? No. I've just walked into that room. My life's been changed, but I'm also like, I'm still...
How can I facilitate that for other people?
Yeah, I'm coming back down to earth.
I'm bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, I'm
trying to help everyone.
Snotting on the horses, having a time. But it was a bit like... No. Same thing happened. She's like, okay, cool, no worries. Leave it a bit. And then for about 2 days straight, I was like on the internet. Breathwork, how does it help? How does it help? Then I started to see it can really help. It can help with fibre, it can help with chronic pain, it can help with high blood pressure, it can help with insomnia, depression, anxiety, stress. And I was like, I've been diagnosed with all of them. Yeah. This is great. Kind of did that stuff. I was really super curious. So I said to her, can you just send me a bit more information? Once again, I read it. I was like, God damn it, this keeps happening to me. Yeah. This is not part of the plan. Yes. And it was a really big investment. It was like a really big investment at the time. And I was like, no. And I remember And I had this conversation with Jamie, and he was just like, I've just not heard you so inspired and speak about. I've just not heard you this way. Spoke to my dad about it. Kind of a similar thing. We'd gone to like an event with my dad that week as well. And he was just like, Sian, I just think you should go for it. I just think you should do it. And I was like, what the hell? This is great.
But they must have sensed that shift in you, the way you're sort of presenting yourself, the way you're talking, and they can see something that you feel, you sound different, and they can see that for you.
Yeah, I just think they like literally firsthand saw the shift and the way I'd spoken about it. And I was really open and honest about, I was like, this is not part of the plan. I don't know what this is. I'm really curious. And my dad was like, I think we'd had that conversation. It was like, if it's not about the money, would you do it? I was like, oh yeah. And I remember I was like, it was like, oh yes.
Without hesitation.
So he was like, let's do it. Yeah. So I was at this event with my dad, and I said to her, right, send me the contract. Let's go. And I started that weekend.
Wow.
So I'd gone on like the Saturday and Sunday. On the Tuesday, she'd messaged me. On the Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, I said, let's go. On the Saturday, I was there. I went back to London. And that's when I started my training for the next year. And that's when my life absolutely changed. So when I talk about like, just going into it with pure faith, not knowing, but just this like, there's a better way. That was always in the back of my head of like, there's a better way.
Yeah.
And for that whole year I trained, and I always say like, I was my guinea pig. I had to do 20 case studies, right? So I had to work with a lot of people, but first and foremost, I was my own guinea pig.
Yeah.
And I saw the shift in my physical health, my mental health, my mood, how much my relationships improved. Like my insomnia. I'd had insomnia for years. And I remember the first time I did a night's sleep where I slept for 5 hours straight. And I woke up and like celebrated.
Yeah.
And people were probably like, are you mad? But I was like, I could not sleep more than 2 hours without waking. Yeah. And so for me, it was like these really small, success moments where I was like, oh my God, like I slept for 5 hours without waking up.
Yeah.
I was like, it's insane. And then like a lot of times I was like, I'm living at a 9, 10 in pain. And I was like, oh my God, today's an 8. Today's an 8.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
And it was, and that's how that journey started. It was purely for me, and purely for, I want to find people my own age.
Yeah.
I want to find people, and once again, that online community was the first time in space where people weren't like, you're fine, you're great, you're young and healthy. People were like, I hear you.
Yeah.
And that was the difference. And I don't mean that like, I love everyone, and my journey's led me here for a reason, but I'd spent so much of my life with everybody disregarding.
Yeah. You found your tribe.
Yeah. And I was like, finally had people that were like, we get it.
Yeah.
We hear you.
Yeah.
And it was true. It was genuine.
Yes.
Genuine.
Yeah.
And that's how I started. And then when I then got qualified, I kind of went, oh, crap, what do I do now? Like I was a bit like,
Go and implement this now.
Yeah.
It's a bit scary.
And that's how I started. And I basically said, right, okay, this is what I needed at the start of my journey. I didn't have that. I found that online, and that was incredible. But the real shift happened for me when I first walked into that retreat. So the in-person side of it, the retreat, the kind of deeper side. And there was some stuff going on in our community. But I mean, I wouldn't particularly class, at the time, I wouldn't particularly, there wasn't a lot going on. And there was a lot of things, for example, say for your physical health.
Yeah.
But not the physical, the mental and the spiritual.
No, I agree.
The kind of the everything.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe I'm that person that just needs to go first.
Yes.
Which terrified the absolute living daylights out of me.
Yes.
But I was almost like, I think that there needs to be someone who brings this locally, in person, someone like where you can meet. And that's what I did. I started my breathwork classes. And for my first session, I had 4 women. And I knew all 4 of them. And they were great. I just was like, love them to pieces. And that's how it started. And I was like, maybe I'll do 1 a month. And then the next month there was a bit more. So I was like, maybe I'll do 2. And then the next month there was a few more ladies and a few more ladies. And within like 4 months, it was like basically booked out.
Yeah.
And it just all was a bit like, but I was like, oh my God, like, how did these people find me? How, why are they coming? Why do they trust me? And then I do it and people go, Sian, that was amazing. I'm going to tell my friend. And I'm like, don't tell your friend. No, don't do that. So don't tell your friend.
Don't tell.
No, because they'll come. No, don't do that. And it started very, very organically. And then one of the ladies in those sessions went, Sian, have you ever thought about doing longer than a session? You ever thought about retreat? Oh, bloody hell, that opened that can of worms. And I was like, no, I haven't. And once again, that stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I've always said, once again, everyone always says, you know, grow something, get really good at something, grow your base of people before you add anything new. Don't try and do everything at once. So about 4 months in at this point.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I could not shake the feeling. And I've always said that was one of those feelings that once again, I was like, I just knew that was going to be, retreats was going to, because once again, that retreat was life-changing for me. Like literally changed the trajectory of my life. Yeah. Never underestimate a retreat, because it's not the day, it's the ripple effect. And that was a true... I had a great time over the course of the weekend. It was great, whatever. But it was what it gave me to take away. And that's when... And then one of the other ladies went, I know a really good venue you could do it at. I'm friends with the owner. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. And that's what I did. I literally was like, God's sake. I went down. I went to the venue. Was like, it's beautiful. You know, I was like, okay, I booked a date for September, so it was about 4 months out. Paid a deposit, and then thought, well, I better advertise it.
This is real now.
Otherwise, I'll, lose the money for it. And that was actually more of the, I was like, at least if I book and pay for it, I have to do it. And, and I remember saying, okay, one person, that's, okay, not quite. 2 people, I can cover. I can kind of cover the cost. I can outweigh it. 3 people, right, that's a party. Now we've started a retreat party. Yeah. I remember saying, I really just want 3 women. Yeah. 3, then we can party. 2, it's like it's a bit of a small crowd, but 3. And I had 14 women sign up, which blew my brains out. And I always remember when we did the Radiant Retreat. That was the first one. The Radiant Retreat. Oh, my little sunshine. And I cried all of that day. And honestly, hand on heart, even to this day, that's still one of my favourite retreats ever.
Were you nervous?
Yes, I didn't get any sleep. I think I spent half the day in the toilet because I was just so like, ugh. It was like an out-of-body experience. Yeah. I had this vision in my mind. I put it together. It went off pretty like without a hitch. It was pretty like 95% good. The women in there were amazing. People were just beautiful. People connected. I had people I knew. I had people I didn't know. It was a beautiful day. And I remember halfway through, one of the other ladies was doing a session, because I always have people, I do sessions and then people come. And I went outside and I just rang my mum and I just cried on the phone to my mum. And I just went, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. And I looked at kind of the women in that room, and some were a bit like me and some weren't. But I was like, I think this has been the reason why. It was a really big epiphany moment of like, I said that there was more than this. And it was almost like I was right. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It fully landed for me in that moment. And essentially, it's never stopped since. No. We're going on to our 14th retreat.
Really?
Yeah. Gosh. Got Glastonbury and Stonehenge this year. Yeah. Along with insane. We've done sessions. We've got mini retreats. We've taken all of our beautiful work online. That's been a big leap. But it's honestly, it started from me having a breakdown at my dressing table and saying, there has to be more than this.
But sometimes you do have to hit your lowest point to come back up from it, don't you?
1,000%. 1,000%.
And you can't go any lower.
And I'm so grateful. COVID was god-awful, right? I don't wish that on anyone. But if I had not had that time and space, it would have not all come to a head. Yeah. And I had the true safety to explore. And that's the difference. And I think some of us really want to explore and have that deep desire and that need, but we don't necessarily feel safe or supported.
No, that's right.
And I was actually very blessed that part of my journey I just did on my own, because I was like, no one can talk me out of it. Yeah. But when it does come to things like Jamie, my dad, my mum, they're very open with, maybe they don't necessarily understand, like as in, tangibly, but they know it's part of my journey and it's part for me to explore, and I need to go down that path, and they support me regardless, even if they don't quite get it.
But they can see the difference in you and what it's made for you.
So I think look at me now. So we're going into 4 years in business in July. Literally just surpassed helping 300 women in the local community, which I'm so proud of.
Yes, you should be.
You're one of those beautiful faces. And I'm really proud to say as well that a lot of women come into our community and they stay.
Yeah.
We have a really, really high retention of women that come in and find breathwork and stay because
each other. They find friendships.
Oh, just find them. Even like last night when we did a beautiful breathwork session, it just like, and there was 5 ladies, and it was just like the connections and the talking and the like, you know, and people were like, I hope I see you at another session. And and you're just like, oh, it's just a beautiful connection. But yeah, it was never part of the plan. Honestly, it's been the wildest, craziest journey. But I also think the shift in myself is so profound. I always say, like, if I could have just told myself 5 years ago, even where I was this time last year, I wouldn't believe where I am now. But if I could have told myself this time 5 years ago when I was in the absolute pits of hell, like, Sian, your life is literally about to take the biggest left pivot and you can't even comprehend, I just think she would honestly just be like so proud that we never gave up. Hand on heart, for anyone that is like struggling or going through that season and you're in the void and it's uncomfortable and you're not quite where you want to be and you're not quite where you were, and you're in this like, you know, who am I, what the hell am I doing, like, where am I going, and you can't quite see the end of it. The void is uncomfortable, but on the other side of it is better than you can ever imagine.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's so much that you do, and you always come across so enthusiastic, and you've got all these great, I know what we're talking about, we're both big talkers, we talk absolute fast weirdo, and we're enthusiastic and passionate, but then people like that, like people say that to me, God, you're so, the way you come across, like, you love your job, don't you love what you do, and I think that's so good that you can transfer that and stick that onto people almost, and then they really get you. And I think with you're the same as me, is that I know people know me within the first 5 minutes, and the same with you, because we're just quite open. We're open to being vulnerable. I'm like, this is who I am, and you both of us just know us within the first 5 minutes, and I think that's great. And then that encourages other people, because like in your sessions you always say, like, do you want to share? And if you don't want to share, that's fine. But you can listen to other people's stories, and other people will share in the room, and then that sort of inspires other people to sort of open up and be maybe vulnerable. And
1000%.
That's where the strength lies. I think a lot of people think, they don't realise, do they, that actually, oh, I'm being strong because I'm keeping it all in. And it's like, no, the strength is letting it out. And I certainly did in your sessions. I used to cry into my ear rolls, didn't I?
Oh, I used to love it when you cry. I put on Adele and you'd cry into your beautiful ear holes. Oh, we love Adele. I put on a good share last night. And we were all crying into our ear holes. I had to have a moment. I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. But honestly, I think these are just, I know it's so uncomfortable to be vulnerable and let down the walls and take the mask. I always say it's like you take the mask off. It's like when you get home and you take your mask off, you know, when you've been in like work and the real world, and the muggle world,
take your bra off.
as I call it, whip your bra off, whip your knickers off, and you kind of just let the mask off and you're vulnerable. But I always say, and I hand on heart believe it, when you put yourself in these spaces with these people, it's the biggest gift you can give yourself, because you just realise that you're not alone. As soon as, even if you don't want to share, you can hear someone's story and be like, God, I was feeling like that. I'm not absolutely mental off Morocco. It's just, I'm a normal person, and I'm a woman who's hormonal with big feelings, and you just feel heard and you feel safe. And as I said with the retreat, I had every reason not to go. And I believe that with my sessions and my retreats and, you know, my whatever. Every woman has every reason not to come to my sessions and my retreat. It's new. They've never done it. What the hell is breathwork? I don't know where I'm going. I don't know who I'm with. I don't know what to expect. It's a bit scary. I'm a bit nervous, right?
Don't want to feel silly.
Don't want to feel stupid. I always say as well, I'm the biggest muppet in the room, so don't you worry. I'll take that crown.
You'll know that
every time. And also, if you've ever met me, you'll know that that's true. But you've got every reason not to come, right? So even if you make it just to that room alone, that's already a success. And all of this is based off of bravery and courage. That's where strength and resilience comes from, because it's like when the world isn't going well, when life isn't going swimmingly, and you still show up and you still want more for yourself and you want to do better and you want to change. That's just pure courage and strength right there. That's where it lies. And the gift is then giving that back to yourself.
But I think because you've got all these different ideas, and you've got like the breathwork sessions, or you've got the retreat, or we've got Spiritual Geeks, which we'll go on to in a minute. You can dip your toe in or you can fully immerse yourself in and be all encompassed. And that's probably a great thing as well, because then people can just go at their
Get your own
the
pace.
rate, and they might still stay dipping the toe in occasionally, and that's fine too. Like you said, like you're not signing up and going, oh, you have to come to Breathwork every month. Just, you know, do whatever you're comfortable with. And I think that's the appeal as well, is like some people want to fully immerse themselves and other people just want to dip their toe in and out. And I love all your different ideas, because that helps people access it on different levels.
Yeah,
I think
1,000%.
that's really important.
1,000%. And I think the bigger part of the picture for me is my passion, which, funny enough, Alessia, I had a Soul's Path reading with Alessia. And Alessia, if you don't know who she is, she's someone that I co-facilitate with. She's incredible. Female Fire with Alessia. That's her handle.
Love her.
Oh, she's one of the most, honestly, hand on heart, she's one of the most beautiful women I've ever met in my whole life. But,
Inside and out.
Insane. I just adore her. But she did a Soul's Path reading for me this time last year, literally. So last March 2025. And she shared so much with me, but she said to me, Sian, you're meant to help women. She was like, you know, some men come to you, and some men do, but she was like, your real path is to help women. And naturally, I've always kind of, women have just come to me, if that makes sense. Like a few men have trickled in every now and again, but it's women. And for me, what I realised is, for me, I want to help the woman like you and yourself, but part of this is then passing that on to your family. So someone who's worked with children for 17 years, if I help you and I help you as the mother, you then naturally will support your partner, your husband, your wife, whatever, but it will also trickle down to your children, your teenagers. And that is one thing that we did not have in school or as a teenager. If I'd have had this as a teenager, things like breathwork to help me with my severe anxiety, it would have really changed the game for me. So I'm passionate about, I feel like the women are the glue of the family. Not trying to be sexist, not saying that, but genuinely, like, women are the glue. We're the rocks, we hold the things together. And so I want it to be for us as women first, but then naturally you can't help but pass this on to your friends, your family, your mums, your dad, your loved ones, but more specifically your children. And I think we need to help the future generation.
Oh, definitely. So should we talk about Spiritual Geeks a little bit, because that's new, and then anything else that's coming up for you?
Sure.
That you want to talk about? So Spiritual Geeks is
my book club.
Your little book club, because we are little bookworms.
And that's how it started.
And I think that's been really good for me, like keeping me, not because I read all the time anyway, but just like having that focus and keeping me accountable to this is what I'm doing this month. And the books you're choosing are spiritual, and there's a lot of self-development in there. And a lot of it, sometimes I'll listen to it in the car and you're actively listening and you're really getting into it, and you're yes. And other times, I missed that bit. But it's all trickling in. And then I think I just notice differences in how I feel and how I carry myself, and just the things that are being said. It's all coming in, and it's really reinforcing those things that are in my head. So I think that's been really, really helpful to me, especially starting it in January.
Funny, that was a bit of I'd had that on the back burner, because I said I love reading, I love audiobooks, podcasts, reading books, love that. I always would class myself as a geek. That's where it came from. I was like, I'm a geek at heart. But also I want to learn about the subject. I want to I want to read about the things we don't talk about. I want to dive into the kind of the spiritual concepts. So that's how Spiritual Geek started, because I was like, I'm a geek, and I'm certain there's other geeky women like me, but I wanted to have the like spirituality meets kind of self-development essentially. Like I want to, not just straight self-development, not straight spirituality. And just have a book. And once again, I was like, one book a month, that's manageable. Attainable, that's manageable. Like one a week, that's a bit intense. So that's why I just kind of put that together. But I'd gone on holiday to Scotland kind of over Christmas, and that was at the point where I was like, just do it, just kind of put it out there. Lovely bunch of women in there as well, isn't there? And so that was my plan of, let's have something where we can have a book. You may have read it before, you may have not read it before, but something that you can really get your teeth into, listen to, read, and then have beautiful conversations. What did you think about it? How did you feel about it? And something that's only really going to bring positivity, kind of thing. Like you said, the part of the club is to keep you accountable. But also, I mean, if you don't read it, it's on you. It's like, I'm not going to
No, it's not like we're all meeting up and then suddenly people are like, oh my God, I haven't read it. What?
Yeah, like if you don't read it, you don't read it at the end of the day, like whatever. But it's something to just say, this is going to be the book of the month. let's read it. And then just to make it fun, I just do a little prize draw, don't I? Just to kind of say, like, if you've read it, tell me you've read it, let me know what you thought about it, and then we'll just do a little prize draw and spin the wheel of fate.
Which is what I've benefited from this month.
Absolutely, you're going to come join me. But once again, I'm like, let's make it fun. Let's make it a bit more, life is so serious and there's so much pressure and overwhelm. Let's just have something that brings a bit of joy to our day or our week.
Yeah.
And a really nice bunch of women who are all there for the same reason.
Yeah. And then we're on Telegram, aren't we? And then if you want to talk about that book or contribute in a conversation, you can, but if you don't want to, that's absolutely fine.
On a wall and just
and I write stuff on there. But I bought, because the way I've done it is I've done it on Audible, so reading listening in my car. But then I bought the books, so they're in there now. And then I said to my daughter, to my youngest, I'm going to highlight what resonated with me when I'm in the car, because obviously I'm driving.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't go pull over and start highlight. So like that's what I'm going to do, is go back through it and then pull out those bits that really resonated with me. And then Lucy was like, "You can't highlight a book.
No,
that's defacing a book." I said, but I explained, and she was like, "Oh, okay, I get it."
I love that.
Yeah, so that they're all in there.
Yeah.
The ones that I've done this year with you, and ones I've chosen for myself. But
1,000%. I love that as well. Like, I listen like in the car. The car's a massive one for me. I listen when I do the washing up, when I hoover.
Yeah.
When I do when I walk the dog. And I said to you, my space is the gym. Like, because I'm not working out like a crazy woman. Don't get that twisted. But like when I'm just on the treadmill and I'm doing my lovely incline walk, it's that place, like I said, when you listen and you connect, and it's a really nice way to digest.
Yeah.
And so it's been something that was just like, once again, just honestly just a passion project where I just thought, I'm just doing this on my own. And I think, as you've come to learn about anything I do, I'm just so massive on community. And really a message that I always say is like, you never have to do this alone. Once you find your community, you realise that. So once again, everything that I kind of do, there's always, like, if there was ever a pillar to like what I stand and believe in, it really is community and finding your people.
Yeah.
So even like that, I thought, I'm just sat at home reading books on my own, and I wasn't necessarily like, I don't particularly want to go to necessarily like a coffee shop and read with people, you know what I mean? I just want to almost be like, I've read this really cool book, what do you think about it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was really great, what do you think about it? And just like just
it's
chat with your girlfriends.
If you try to organise like a get together, people wouldn't be able to make it and things like that. So at least it's on Telegram.
Yeah.
And people just nip in and put comments and stuff when they're sat at home. So
Absolutely.
I think it's working really, really well, and it will be good to see what we end up with by the end of the year.
And that's what I'm really
We've
like.
read 12 books.
That's what I'm excited of. Like, you can say we've read 12 books. Also, as well, like I said, that's why we made that little chat. We've got other book recommendations. There's a chat with just straight recommendations of other books. We've also got there's a chat. So even if you joined now, you can see all the books we've already read.
Yes.
Should you want to do them? And then, so it's like you can join at any point. Just pick up a book.
Yeah, I've invited a few people to it. So if anyone's listening today and they want that information, then just contact us, and we can join you to our little Spiritual Geeks.
It's a free
club.
It's literally free. All you've got to do is just literally just put in your name and email address and boom, you're in.
And I did that Audible offer as well, so it was like 99p for 3 months, and then you get your one free credit. So, and
I've done that twice. The Kindle Unlimited, 99p.
It's doing it again. I saw you said that. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to do that.
I was like, bargain, because that's the thing. I just don't want it to be an expense to anyone.
No.
I wanted to do something fun. I don't want it to be an expense. And also, like I said, at the beginning of my journey, when my income, I was like, I wasn't in work. So I was like, I need everything to be free or very low.
And then when I
cost.
buy it off either Vinted, eBay, or World of Books.
Yeah. And also charity shops.
And charity shops, yeah.
Honestly, fabulous place. I find loads in the charity shops.
Yeah.
And then I read it, just donate it back.
I'm a bit like, I get obsessed with books, and then I end up with so many. That's supposed to be my reading corner there. Do I sit in it? No, I really don't. I read all the time on my Kindle, but I'm supposed to be sat there reading a real book. Yeah. And I've got loads. I've got one on the polyvagal theory. I've got one on the brain. All these things to make myself appear more intelligent. And they need to be coming out of those shelves. I need to be reading them.
Yeah.
So... But yeah, it's like you say, it's just taking your time for yourself and going, right, I'm doing this now.
Yeah,
it's this hour is for me to do.
It's something else that you can just add into your day or week.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want it to be like, even if you just read 5 minutes, even if you read a chapter,
you don't want people to feel stressed about it, do you?
No,
someone said that recently. Oh, I haven't had a chance. You're like, let's chill.
I was like, it's chill. Yeah,
don't worry about it.
But that is my. I don't think even with any of these things, like even when I do breathwork, right, make your life really simple. Do it alongside something that you're already doing, so it's not something additional. Like if you're already walking the dog, listen to a book, do your breathwork because you're already walking the dog.
Yeah.
If you're washing up, you always got to wash up your dishes.
Yeah.
Do it. You've got to hoover the house.
Yeah.
Adult,
little boring stuff.
Yeah. When you're driving to work, do it alongside.
Yeah.
That is the quickest way to like pair it with another task.
Yes.
That you're already doing,
Yeah.
and therefore you're not adding anything else to your plate, and you'll make it more enjoyable.
Exactly, and women are good at multitasking. So yeah, come on,
Yeah.
we can do this, guys.
Exactly. So yes.
So that's Spiritual Geeks. Anything else that you want to talk about? Like, so with what you've got coming up, have you got like spaces on stuff that you might want to tell us about that's happening? Because obviously, so with the breathwork that I'm coming to, which is disco themed.
Oh,
do you want to talk about that? Because you've just done one.
Disco. Oh, we did 70s and 80s disco breathwork last night.
Yeah.
It was a vibe.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a vibe. You're gonna love it. So we're gonna do 90s and noughties.
I love that, but people can sort of chill to like have a chilled theme, or they can come to something like this where it's a bit more upbeat.
Yeah,
but you can sort of choose your theme then, can't you?
1,000%.
Yeah.
So sessions. So we're back up and running.
Yeah.
Twice a month.
Right.
Always welcome. I'm always like, anyone's always welcome. And I like to say, so every session has a theme. You know it firsthand. Every session I do is always different. There's not like we don't do the same thing. Obviously, like how it runs is the same, but as in every session has a different theme. So this month, for example, was disco breathwork. I was like, when I think of disco, right, I think of like going out with my girlfriends, having a proper boogie, letting my hair down, like getting proper dressed up, like feeling good. It's fun, it's flirty, it's feeling good, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I said to the ladies last night. I said, I want you to like come, let your hair down, have fun, have a giggle, like chat with your girlfriends. Like it's that really like take the pressure off. Life's too serious. Have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
That's the vibe, right?
Yeah.
Went beautifully. It was a great time. So you're going to get to experience that in a couple of weeks. But each breath work that we do has a completely different theme. And sometimes it's like an outward theme of that, like disco. I was like, do you know what? We love a theme. Disco. That I'd never done that before. That sounds like a good time. But other times it might be like, you know, coming into our spring energy, and we're going to clear off the cobwebs, and we're going to get out of our winter, and we're going to kind of like shake up the energy a bit. Other times it's like we're going to, you know, calm the energy. We're going to have a sleepy, you know, calming, soothing. I call it soul soothing because it's beautiful. So each breath work we do is completely different to the last, but the sessions we do twice a month in the local community. And then for the ladies that, for example, wanted to do more, we have our goddess gatherings. Oh, I love that name. That was Alessia that...
Yes.
I was like, Alessia, it's a something gathering. It's a... What is it? She was like, goddess gathering.
She's a goddess.
I was like, oh, yeah. You know, and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
So that's like our 3 hour... I call it a mini retreat because it's not a session, it's not a workshop, it's not a day retreat, right? So we've got our 3 hour mini retreats, and that's beautiful. So they're run by me and Alessia. So those are like, we do breath work, we do Reiki, we do energy healing, and once again they always have a theme. And then we'll do like, so one of them we did like a cacao ceremony. Other times we do like I did a beautiful shamanic.
What's that?
So shamanic, it was very like tribal drumming.
Oh wow.
It was like really, really fun. Sometimes we do like fire burning. Release ceremonies, because it might be like, you know, if the full moons, we might do like a ceremony. We kind of see it's much more like seasonal, like what's kind of going on. Or same thing, like obviously we see a lot of women, what's kind of coming up for people. Do we need to shake things up a bit, or do we need to be like, no, we're a bit too wired, let's bring it down?
But then you're listening to your community, aren't you? So
1,000%. And I just ask. I just be like, what do you need? Tell me what you need, and I'll make it for you.
That's good.
And then full on, and if you really want to go, if you really want the deep dive, so we literally last weekend we just did our retreat in our new Stonehenge venue. I am probably today I'm going to share more about that because it's so important for me to share, but you need to integrate and let it land. There's just such magical days. They're insane. The transformation, the women, the experience is to be honest with you, unmatched. But you just need to come back down to the real world before you share, kind of thing. So we've just got our new Stonehenge venue. So in June, we've got our Glastonbury retreat. In July, we're doing our first business retreat. So for the spiritual business ladies who want a bit of both. So you want the connection with other women in business. You want the kind of the network. I know.
I'm pointing at myself, by the way, guys.
But you want the energy healing, the breath work, the Reiki, the money mindset, the moving through your blocks, the kind of vision for the next level.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to come.
She's like, I'm there. So that's a new one.
Yeah.
That actually was birthed last year. And then 2 weeks later, Alessia went, I'm pregnant. And I was like, oh, girl. Okay. So we kind of parked that one for a hot minute. And then literally same time again this year, she was like, I think it's time. And I was like, okay, we're ready. And then there'll be another Stonehenge retreat later in the year.
I've got a question for you.
Go for it.
Do you still supply chocolates at the end of the session?
Absolutely, yes, I do.
For them coming?
Yesterday we had cake.
What?
Tea and cake.
Will that happen when I come in a couple of weeks?
Absolutely, tea and cake. So after breathwork, for anyone who doesn't know, right, so you've like exerted a bit of energy, and it's really, really good to have something sweet. So you can go down the naturally sweet, so like a herbal tea, some fruit. I like to go down chocolate, cake, what I call the good stuff.
Yeah, shove your face in a Bruce Bog chocolate.
You know when you're like, I just want a cup of tea and a piece of cake, and like the world is right again?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes, you'll have tea and cake.
Okay.
I had what I called the party cake. It's like, the ones with the sprinkles on it last night.
My
Like,
God,
you know, like kids' cake.
Yeah, school cake.
Yeah, it makes you feel, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that stuff's so good. Not that I eat loads of it, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because do you know what? There's nothing, and it's the same way you want to treat yourself. Come, you've been so brave, you've been so courageous, you've come. Hell yeah, we're gonna have tea.
Yeah, some of these women are coming on their own. They're not always bringing a friend, are they?
No, absolutely. Well, take yesterday. It was really beautiful actually that we had 2 ladies come that were very, very close friends.
Yeah.
And then 3 ladies that came completely on their own individually, but then connected and made friends while they were there.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
I love that. And normally it normally is a bit of a split. Like there'll be like maybe a mum and a daughter will come together, maybe like a best friends will come together,
nice. Yeah.
which is really lovely. And then other people will just come on their own.
Last question for you.
Go for it.
Since we're at 60 minutes.
Oh, girl.
We can
Time
talk.
flies when you're having fun.
It does. Do you wake up every morning and go, like, have a pinch yourself moment of like, this is my life now?
Yes. So I wake up, I get out of bed.
Good.
I make the bed.
Yeah.
Can't be dealing with that. I get out of bed and make the bed.
Oh, see, I'm in the night sweat stage, so we can't always make the bed. Sometimes we're stripping the bed. Or we're going, let's air it off a little bit.
Oh, yes. Get a bit there.
You're not there yet.
No, not quite.
I can be your mum.
Not
You're 16 years younger than me. That depresses me slightly.
Yeah, I'm not in the night sweat stage. Not yet.
No, sorry. This was supposed to be like a nice, deep and meaningful bit to
No,
end
it
this
was.
podcast, but then I'm like talking about my night sweat.
But then this is reality.
This is
Well,
reality.
we're sat on the sofa talking about our night sweat.
Let's go back to you. So you get up, you make the bed because it's sweat free. Carry on.
So I make the bed and I go downstairs and I make a cup of tea and then I go sit on the sofa and then I do my breath work. And that's my time where every morning, like, it's just, I get up, tea, and I sit on the sofa and I just take a few minutes to just be kind of check in with myself, right? That's my thing. But every morning, I hand on heart, as cliche and as it sounds, I just sit there and I, like, out loud, I just say, I'm just so grateful.
Oh.
I'm so grateful because at the end of the day, we're celebrating 4 years in July, right? Massive, massive, massive achievement, which, you know, I always say I need to give myself more credit for that because it's been a wild journey, but people are like, Sian, you've built it, you've done it, like, you've got yourself there.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yes, I have. I don't necessarily always honour that. I'm a bit like, oh yeah, like, we just see what happens, which full transparency, I do.
Yeah.
But generally, like, I've got us here.
Yeah.
This time last year, so I left my job in April, 17-year career. You remember that was a massive meltdown.
Huge.
And a long time coming.
Yes.
That was like a year and a half, 2 years coming.
Yeah.
It was a long road.
Yeah.
And I left my job and then I had, 2 weeks where I was like, what the hell have I done? And then I went and facilitated at a beautiful retreat. So I'm very lucky that I go all over the UK. And so I do my own retreats, my own sessions, my own workshops, but I get invited as a guest expert to facilitate all over the UK. And I'm very lucky. Once again, blessed, because someone asked me, would you do that for me? And I was like, sure, why not? Had a breakdown about it and then did it and was like, that was great. And then got recommended, right?
Yeah.
Once again, this is, I live my life so organically
Yeah.
of like, I just get myself into the most ridiculous situations and then go, I'll just work it out after.
Yeah.
But I got recommended to do a retreat for a guest expert for someone and was like, sure, I'll do that. Then literally was like, what the hell have I done? This is ridiculous. Who the hell am I? I was like, who the hell am I?
Yes.
And I went and rocked it and actually, once again, I was like, with my ladies, I'm like, no, it's my ladies. I'll rock it. But once again, it was for someone else. So I was like, no, I'm going to make sure I rock it because that's their lady. So I can't let her down or her ladies down. Rocked it. And then she recommended me and they recommended me and it spiraled. So
and you're in the stop telling people phase
stop
again.
telling people. Because people would always, you know, some of the ladies, I did a retreat in November and I'd gone, they'd started the day before and I'd gone the next day. And they were like, oh my God, we were telling them all about you last night. We were hyping you up, saying how incredible you were. And I was like, stop.
Dial it down,
stop.
guys.
Because I was like, it's going to be really anticlimactic.
Yeah.
You need to stop doing that. Stop singing my praises. No, just say she's all right. She'd be, you know, it'd be okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll come in and then I was like, I'll blow people's minds.
Yes.
You know, stop doing that. But, you know, so I left my job last year and then things went absolutely kaboom. Like after 2 weeks, I'd done this retreat. It was like a bit of a catalyst. Yeah. You know, and you think kaboom. And I'd always just said to myself, it's fine, I'll just get another job. It'd be fine. Like I'll leave and then it probably won't work out. And then I'll just get another job, you know. And I just think I stand here like now thinking we're just coming up for a year. Yeah. We're coming up for a year. And every day I get to wake up. And I know I've built this life for myself, which once again, I need to give myself more credit. But I wake up and I'm like, I get to support women like me every single day because I want to, not because I have to. I do it. You know how it is. There's like, you see me normally and then you see me when I facilitate. Yes. It's like the light of my life. Yeah. And I had a really lovely conversation with someone the other day. And it was about, you know, that thing where it was like, if you won the lottery, how much would your life change? Yeah. And I always say, like, if I won the lottery, yeah, great. We love that for us. But actually, my life on the daily wouldn't really change. No. I'd still be where I am. I'd still live where I live. I'd still be married to Jamie because he's the love of my life. Yeah. I would stay at home with Pep because I love working at home and being with Pep. Yeah. I'd still walk the dog in the day because I want to. And I'd still wake up every day in this business and support the women that I love and adore because I'm at a place now, I cannot imagine my life not doing this. No,
you're living your core values and that's what
1,000%. Yeah. And Jamie always said to me, he was like, literally the other day, he said to me, the last few years have like been a whirlwind and they've been really inconsistent. But he said the one thing that's always been so almost stable, but so like, he's like, you've had no doubt in your mind is your business. And I was like 1,000%. There's never been a moment of, there's been moments where I've been like, how the hell am I going to make this work and what's going on? And some months have been harder than others. But he was like, you've never wavered in that. Yeah. And I was like, because it's pure love and joy. And I'm very lucky that I have found my purpose and my passion. But I also work bloody hard together.
Yeah, but you're brilliant at it.
So I wake up every day and every day I'm like, I'm so grateful. So grateful.
I'm glad I asked that question.
No, thank you for asking because I do.
Right, we will leave it there.
Woohoo, round of applause.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. And yes, round of applause for each other.
Thank you, Fran.
Thank you so much.